In this video, I've put together a list of players that I think should be on your watch list for Game Week 25. It's coming up quickly. We'll talk about these players, we'll have a look at transfer plans, and we'll also have a quick chat about chip strategy. So if these things interest you, let's take a look. Hi Fantasy Managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. When I initially did this video, I actually recorded it thinking it was just going to be one or two players that I'm going to have a look at, sort of indulge you and see if I can persuade you to bring on some of these players, statistically analyse them, look at their fixtures. And actually in the end, I thought I needed to explain a bit more as to why I'm looking at these players in particular. So I think the easiest way to do that is to talk about my transfer plans coming up over the next few weeks. It feels like now is a really important and big time of the FPL season. We've got all these double game weeks coming up. We've got all these blanks coming up as well. It's going to be a great opportunity to get ahead of your mini league rivals, improve your overall rank with a bit of careful planning and good strategic moves and use of those chips. So I wanted to go through what my plan was, show you how I'm going to avoid using a free hit in 27, try and negotiate the rest of the season and leave myself flexible as well. And hopefully that's going to go pay me dividends further down the line and my rank's going to improve. So I think the easiest way to do that is by looking at my side. First, before we do that, don't forget, smash that like button, guys. Hit subscribe. If you enjoy FPL content, we'll have perhaps more chip strategies, maybe a wildcard video out before the Game Week 25 deadline. But in the meantime, let's get on with it. So this is my side for Game Week 24. I'm pretty happy with it at the moment. There's loads of green fixtures. I've got Jota on the bench there. That's not going to stay. I'm pretty sure now that Gray will come out. Jota will go in before kickoff. So I've got no issues with that. Captaincy's on De Bruyne, so we'll see how that goes. That looks like a reasonably good option. Again, I'm happy with that. Pretty happy with the state of the team. I've got Diaz, Cancelo. I have not felt the need to wildcard whatsoever. Glaringly obvious that Salah is not in there. Also, I've just got De Gea in for the double game week next week, so I would like to do a strategy with that. When do you bring Salah back in? I'm just not convinced that this week he will get the minutes. It sounds like all the soundings are that 75-80% sure that he will start. He seems raring to go. However, I'm just not, in order to invest that much money and the amount of tinkering I'll have to do to get him in this week, I don't want to take it off De Bruyne, and I wouldn't have the confidence in Captain Salah, so it just doesn't happen for me. Whether I bring him out for 25 is another conversation altogether. He has to come in for 26. I also want to take advantage of those Man United double game week coming up. I've got to be aware of that blank in Game Week 27 and beyond with the FA Cup fixtures. There's a possibility that Burnley now will double also in 26 and 27. Fixtures aren't amazing. Away at Brighton, at home to Tottenham in 26, then Palace and Leicester in 27. But is that worth going over the top of another player that's only got one fixture? Quite possibly. So I need to look at that possibility as well. And then obviously we have that big blank week in Game Week 30 to consider as well. So all of these things I'm going to have to consider when I look at my watch list and my players coming up for Game Week 25 and beyond. I'm rolling my transfer this week to give me that flexibility. Let's have a look. I'm going to show you what plans I have. Right, I've transferred my side across to a website called fplteam.com, and there's a planning tool which is really useful for finding out which teams are going to be playing, what fixtures are up, showing the transfers you made, all that sort of stuff. So I'll recommend using this tool. So I'm doing this live, bear with me guys, but this is my transfer plans coming in. So this is my current side for Game Week 24, and these are the fixtures that we're looking at. So I'm happy with that side, and I'll put Jota in. As you can see, I've moved Gray to the bench. I think that's a trickier game for Gray, definitely, than it is for Jota. I like Gallagher as well, so he stays. So we've talked about Game Week 24, plans for Game Week 25. So if I move across to the game fixtures for Game Week 25, Liverpool going to Burnley. Man City have another great fixture away at Norwich. I don't want to lose any of those Man City assets, that's for sure. Do I bring Salah in? That's the question I have. And the answer to that, I just think no. I've got Manchester United having a double game week. I much prefer having a Manchester United defender in. And in particular, if we look at in terms of the budget, and why it becomes clearer later on, if I bring Dalot in, he comes in, double game week for him. I would then probably going to move the likes of Watkins possibly out because he's got that game against Norwich. So I've now got Dalot, I've now got De Gea. The other option I'm not massively keen on it, I have to say, but I think what I would do is the only way I could afford it is I'm going to take Jota out and then bring in Bruno Fernandes. One of the main reasons for that, again, I'm just going to opt for a double game week player over a single every day. And I think as well, he has that captaincy. I don't want to take De Bruyne out because away at Norwich. I just think he's too valuable. And then what that would give me moving into the next game week as well. So this would be a game week 26 on the board. Is I've got that double game week as well. Remember Gallagher's got double game week there. He can't play against Chelsea, so he'd just have Watford away. I've got Alexander-Arnold there. What I would do there, I do want to keep Fernandes for the Leeds game, and I'll just have bang on the right money to move from Kevin De Bruyne back to Salah, because absolutely I'm going to bring Salah that one, and he becomes my triple captain as well. So those are the plans. I get through to 26. If I go beyond that, remember, I'll still have another transfer. And I would move into game week 27. Now, I've got a few blanks, but I do have a playing 11 there. So Salah would move to the bench. Watkins would come on. I've got Dennis away at Man U. It's not ideal, but I've even got a choice there. I could have Gray at home to Man City if I wanted to. Or do I play Dennis? I don't really want to play Gray. The fixtures look okay. I've got Fernandes still for that Watford match, and Darlow and De Gea. That's what's quite nice. In that game week 27, I do have those three players. That's got a really nice fixture. The plan then will be after that, you've got, obviously, your players will come back. Mo Salah, Trent, I've got a lot of options there. The only spanner in the works for me would be that Burnley do have that potentially double game week in 26 and 27. So instead of bringing Darlow in, or do I keep Darlow in, I could bring in a Tarkowski or someone like that. Or the option is just take a hit, take out Antonio, bring in someone the likes of Weghorst. And Antonio's fixtures at home to Wolves don't concede many. Newcastle at home, you think you're possibly going to get some points on the board there. But in the space of 2 weeks, where Dennis would have 2 games, the likes of Weghorst would have 4. Is it worth a 4-point hit? I think just for the fact that he'd be nailed on, I absolutely do think it would be. And then moving forward, again, if you look to game week 30, so we're moving on to, that'll be 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, again, a lot of these are going to blank. It could be a case for me that I'm looking to wildcard in 28, bringing in those Chelsea assets, which I've largely forgotten. I can then maybe move on board some of those Leicester assets as well, that they've got so many games to fit in. But up until game week 27, I can negotiate it with those transfers, and I haven't lost any chips. I still retain 2 free hits. One could definitely be for game week 30. I could wildcard my way through that potentially and still keep 2 free hits for the rest of the season, where there might be that huge double game week in game week 36. It just gives me lots of flexibility. So for my watch list, this would be my plan, to look around Manchester United players. I think I've got that luxury. And or do I get on board some of those Burnley assets, just because a double game week could be really tasty. So if we're going to bring in Manchester United assets, let's have a look at some of them. For me, it absolutely suits me to bring Darlow in, simply because Rudiger's not playing. It's a straight swap to him, and I'll go through other options in terms of defence. If it was midfield and you wanted to bring in Manchester United asset in, Elanga's one that's really tempting and interesting. 4.8, dead cheap, great fixtures, as we know that double game week coming up as well. He's got 1 goal this season, 0.35 XGI. That's decent for a midfielder in the Manchester United side with those fixtures. 4.8, wow, seems like a dream. 2.49 shots per 90, that's decent as well. So the fixtures are there, the price is great. Started the last 3, it's just minutes, isn't it? Sancho, Rashford back, Lingard maybe not back just yet, because there's a question mark over Cavani, so maybe his time's going to get limited. Will he play both games? I'm not so sure. Will he get minutes in both? I would have expected so, and you'd expect him to at least start one of those. 4.8 seems a decent price to bring in a Manchester United midfielder who is a very forward-thinking player. I quite like him for 4.8, an enabler as well. Gets those covered games in terms of game week 27 as well. If you get a Den end your side and wildcard after that, yeah, or even put him on the bench, you wouldn't really want him beyond that 28, 29, 30 fixtures. They look quite tough. But Elanga in the short term, next 4 games, looks really nice. Then we have Darlow, as I said, just going through his 1 assist this season. He has been brought in primarily by Radnić, saying he's a more attacking alternative to Wan-Bissaka, and he's got that number 1 spot. But does that mean he plays both games? Again, not so sure. Played last week in the FA Cup, so he's also going to be playing against Southampton Brighton. I'm not sure he'll play both games. It is a risk. His goal involvement not that high. Shots per 90. He hasn't really justified, I'd say, in terms of the stats, his attacking output that he threatens and Radnick says he's in for. However, he has got obviously those great fixtures. A price 4.5 is really nice as well. It's going to be the minutes, isn't it? Do you take a risk? Does he come in? At 4.5, it just fits my budget perfectly. I think, yeah, for me, I'm going to have to look at him. The alternative would be Luke Shaw. Again, Tellis is out through COVID, but there's a chance he'll be back for that second fixture against Brighton. No goals for Shaw this season, only 1 assist, 0.19. Myself, like a lot of others, brought him in right at the start of the season. Off the back of those Euros, he seemed like a decent price, decent fixture at the start of the season. And he's just not produced anything. 0.3 shots per 90, not great. Goal involvement, like I said, for a wing-back or a full-back going forward, just not. When you compare that to the likes of Reece, Reece James, the likes of Chilwell when he's been about, even the likes of Alonso, Cancelo and Trent. There's so many other fullbacks that are a lot better, but you are playing a little bit more for those fullbacks. Sure, though, fixtures, he will definitely play one of those you would have thought. Will he get the other one? I don't know. It's a chance for him to stay, sort of put his stamp on that number 1 position, which he seems to have lost. Again, same thing really. Fixtures look great. Nailed whilst Tellis is out. After that, there's a question mark. Put a question mark on the price as well. If he's no more nailed than Dalot, is he worth paying an extra 0.5 for? That would be the question. For me, I'm shading it with Dalot. And then here comes another one. Fernandes, 11.7 million, 7 goals, 5 assists, 0.48 goal involvement. That's obviously his non-penalty goal involvement as well. Shots per 90, 2.27. Are a decent stats, but look at the price. That's what we're paying. A lot of money for someone who is priced at the start of the game based on previous seasons, and his stats are just way down on what they used to be. Looking at his shots per 90, there's under 1 goal per game less, 1 shot per game less he's taking. That's just an indication of sort of the emphasis that Ronaldo effectively has taken away from his XGI is down on last season. The good news is that he has picked up in recent times. So fixtures great again. 4 goal involvements in the last 3 games. So he's playing a slightly more of that diamond formation. He's at sort of the top of that diamond. Seems to suit him more, getting more involved. If there's a chance Ronaldo's perhaps rested or rotated in one of these games, then you'd think he'd be straight onto penalties. But he's definitely a captaincy option for that double game week. For me, I'm looking at it. I don't think 11.7 is a good price for him at all. But for the next 4 games, I don't see many players that are going to outscore him. He looks like a great option. I don't mind paying that premium price in the short term, especially when it allows me later on to get salary in anyway. So it's the price that would put me off for the longer term. Certainly wouldn't be keeping him beyond game week 28 when suddenly you got Man City, Tottenham and Liverpool. But those 4 games, I don't think it's hard to. I'm prepared to bite the bullet and take that price for the benefit of those 4 games. I thought I'd throw in a Brighton defender as well. Not many Brighton assets that I would like to go for, if I'm honest, because they're 2 games away. Watford's fighting for their lives. Man U away. Brighton don't score many goals as it is. So you certainly wouldn't be expecting many returns at perhaps Old Trafford, but maybe in that Watford game there's a bit more of an opportunity. Burnley, Villa, the fixtures look decent after that. Game 27 obviously covered. No goals, Cucurella, 1 assist. XGI is not great, 0.48 shots, nothing to get excited about. The one thing you say about him though, decent fixtures, he's get a sort of in terms of clean sheets, absolutely nailed as well. I think since he's arrived, he started every single game. So if you've got a double game week, the one thing you do want is a player playing both games. So just by that, he's going to pick up 4 or 5 points, you would have thought. Let me know what you're going to do. What is your chip strategy? Which transfers and players are you looking to bring in for game week 25 and beyond? Are you going to use your free hit in 27? Or are you going to save it? Are you going to use it in 30? It depends how many you've got left. In the meantime, guys, good luck with the rest of your game week 24. Don't forget to hit subscribe to keep in touch with the latest FPL content. In the meantime, good luck. Speak to you soon.